Hey guys, I just want to make a quick video here to kind of walk you through the directions and what's expected from you for your business math quarter four project. So this project is going to be based off of the research and what you already know about the given pandemic that you've covered in your other three classes so far. So kind of the overview of the project. By the end of the project, you're going to be able to answer these three questions. Which first one is, how does a pandemic lead to change in industry and jobs? How are people and their families financially impacted by a pandemic? And how does a pandemic influence future planning and budgeting? So each of those questions are going to be separated as a directive. So we'll start with the first directive. So each directive, you're going to have a set of like check boxes to complete, and you need to make sure you complete both parts or multiple parts there could be. So the first is, how does a pandemic lead to change in industry and jobs? So the first thing I want you to do is research your pandemic and find an industry and or a job opportunity that emerged because of the pandemic. You're going to summarize what emerged and explain why you believe that industry or job emerged. So think about if your pandemic is strictly based on a virus, okay? Talk about what that virus led you to do. Is there a new change in the medical field? Is there a new change in the hygiene and sanitary? Think about those types of things. If you can't find anything formally, any information about this, most of your pandemics you should be able to create a realistic industry that you think to come out. Think of a product that could emerge because of this pandemic to help prevent that pandemic. That's what I kind of want you to think about. So that's part one of this directive. Part two of the directive is to look at the current situation. So let's now look at coronavirus or COVID-19. And right now we're still in the middle of it. But make a prediction on a new industry or a new job opportunity that could emerge or that should emerge because of it. So think about all the things going on right now. What's the biggest issue with coronavirus? Okay. Um, and what industry should emerge because of it? Is there a new factory that should come up? Is there a new product that should be created to help prevent the coronavirus from happening again? Okay, so that's kind of what I want you to think about. You're going to summarize your prediction and again explain why you believe that this should emerge. Okay, so don't just say, oh, some entertainment should come out of this because we're all bored at home. Okay, make it realistic and why it's important and how it could maybe prevent this from happening again or how it could make this pandemic transition a lot easier. Let me know if you have questions with this, okay? All right, now Directive 2 wants you to look at the financial impact of a pandemic. So I want you to find an article or a primary source. And a primary source could be someone's personal blog, some pictures, um, someone's biographies, anything, or an article that talks about the financial struggles people had during your research pandemic. Okay, so you're going to summarize the source you found. So tell me about it and what the importance of it is. Explain it and make sure you use proper citations. And then you're going to identify what are those financial struggles. So it could be, unemployment, it could be debt, it could be, high interest rates, stock market concerns. It could have been a limited food supply, okay, if it's a famine of some sort. Okay, so tell me what struggles your personal pandemic that you've researched led people to have. Now we're going to look at the current one, the coronavirus. So I want you to find a family member, a friend, a teacher, whoever. Please don't choose someone who's, the same age as you or younger. I want you to do someone who maybe has a full-time job or someone who's in a family, head of household. And I want you to ask them about the difficulties regarding the coronavirus. So maybe they're struggling with getting less pay. Maybe they lost their job. Maybe they're a business owner and they had to close down their business. Maybe new family members or additional family members are coming home and now they have to support them. Maybe they can't make debt payments. Maybe you're working from home. Think of all the challenges of trying to work from home. What about travel plans? Travel plans being canceled, money lost, paying taxes, all those taxes were due in April. Maybe some people struggled with that. If you did get the virus or if you have any other concern, family members who might have medical or hospital expenses, okay? So I want you to think about all those things and interview someone and ask them about it. And then you're going to record this interview by hand. You can record them by audio or video. Make sure that interview is really thoughtful, okay? Don't make it short. You want to really talk to the person, get their feelings about how they're being financially impacted. Then directive 3 is how does the pandemic influence future planning and budgeting? And this one's strictly based on the COVID-19. So we're going to first use the COVID-19 to summarize how it has changed your current thoughts about planning and budgeting. So think about different things like maybe because of this virus, it's a good idea to create a savings account in case it happens again. So you always have that emergency funds in case you do lose your job or your retirement plans. Maybe you're in a stock market. If you look at stock markets, a lot of companies are really going down because shopping's not the same. Think of department stores. You're not going to a department store. You're only buying online, and maybe you think of before the pandemic, you had both online sales and in-store sales. Now you only have online stores. So if you have a stock in one of those companies, think about that, etc. And you can always ask family members too how this changed for them. Do any of your family members now they lost their job and maybe their retirement plans are changed? Think about those things, okay? And then the second part is about the closure of schools and how students of all ages had to shift to online learning. I want you to identify the pros and cons of online learning. Give me a couple of each. What are some positives of online learning and what are some negatives of online learning? Then talk about your own personal experience and tell me what you liked about online learning and what you didn't like and what can be changed. And then share your thoughts about maybe taking future online classes after high school. Maybe if you are planning to go to college, would you consider taking an online class or would you not because of this experience? If you plan to go right into a job, would you consider doing a training online or would you rather do it in person? Okay, so think about those couple of things. Once you have all this ideas, and this is actually, I would say to figure this out first, decide how you want to showcase your research and your work and your thoughts and opinions. So I want you to choose one of these methods or, what interests you. So if you're realistic, you're going to create some sort of physical project, which you should get approved by me first. So you want to create a poster by hand, a brochure, a book, using resources you have at home, papers, whatever. Investigative is you're just going to put everything into a Google Docs report. You're just going to go ahead, answer all the questions, make sure everything's titled, and it's really structured, okay? Artistic, you're going to create a multimedia presentation, so maybe a Prezi or a video. You can create a TikTok as long as you organize each directive in all parts. This is really showing you want to show how creative you are when you're displaying each part. If you're interested in the social aspect of things, what you can do is you can create a screencast. A screencast is what I'm doing right now. You can create yourself talking about a project you've already made, about talking about a presentation and walking me through it and your thoughts and opinions about everything. If you need help, you can always reach out to me. I love making screencasts, as you know, I do that a lot. Enterprising is where you would create a news broadcast and you're going to compare your research pandemic and the current pandemic, and you're sure to answer each part and each directive and its corresponding parts. You can create a broadcast as a video or a podcast, okay? And the last is conventional, just creating a Google Slides or a PowerPoint, and it's really organized, and you just make sure you cover all directives. Again, if you need help with that, reach out. If you need more clarification on what these project options are, let me know. That's going to be one of your first things for this assignment, is telling me which way you're going to present your research, okay? So be on the lookout for that on Classroom. Okay, so before you can submit your project, make sure you have shared with me your Google Drive folder that has all your research and projects from other classes. I have a lot of yours already, but I did give you a quick video on the last assignment on how to share it with me, so hopefully you have shared it with me. When you finish your project, you're going to first submit it by attaching it to the Google Classroom assignment um, by Friday, May 22nd at 11:59 p.m. Um, so when you turn it in on Classroom, also make sure it's still attached in your Google Drive folder, okay? It's just going to be easier for me to grade it that way. And then you're all going to receive individual feedback on your project following this rubric. So I did attach the rubric for you. And you can see exactly what will give you a 4, what will give you a 1, etc. And I will be grading everyone's individually. You'll all get your own one of these and some additional comments. Let me know if you have questions with that. But it is possible for me to return the assignment back for you to complete more parts or to make changes so you could receive a higher score. So be on the lookout for that after Friday. What's next? Okay, so pacing and help. So I want to make sure this project should not be too much for you. It should not take you too much time. You can complete it in all one sitting, or you can, stretch it out. So my suggestion, and I wrote Tuesday when I really should have wrote Wednesday. Yeah, change that. My suggestion is if you want to follow it this way, you don't have to. But on Monday, work on Directive 2. On Wednesday, work on Directive 3. Friday, work on Directive 3, and submit that. Again, you don't have to follow it. You can follow it any way you want. You could submit it on Monday if you get it all done on Monday. As you work through each directive, you should be adding it to your final presentation. So I don't want you to do 2 separate things, write everything out in Google Docs and then put it into a slideshow. You can if that's going to help you organize, but I don't need your planning page, if that's what I call it. And last, for help, I will be hosting open Zoom sessions Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 12 p.m. to 1 p.m. If you need any questions or help. So I'll post the link on Classroom, and you can just join in, leave at any time you want between 12 and 1, and just ask questions. Zoom is really nice because there's a screencasting option, so you can I can look at what's exactly on your computer, or if you're using your phone, you can show me what you're looking at, and I can really help you individually. If those times don't work for you, please reach out to me and we can schedule, an independent video chat session or an email or chat, whatever, phone call, even if you would like that, and I can really help you with those things. So please reach out if you need that. As always, if you have any additional questions, comments, please send me a message. I will most likely respond very quickly, unless it's the middle of the night. I will be sleeping. I really want to see you guys succeed. This is manageable. This is it's actually kind of interesting. I wouldn't be opposed to doing this project myself. There's a lot for you to consider and think about, and it shouldn't be too hard. But if there are questions, just reach out. And I just want to thank everyone for your hard work so far. On the side note, you will not receive any review assignments. So I know you've been doing a couple review assignments for me. You won't receive any during this week. So I just want you to focus on this project. Thanks for watching, guys. Let me know if you have any questions.